Hello, and welcome to our video. My name is Jonathan Stephen John. On this occasion, me and my fellow teammates will be elaborating about one of Indonesia's renowned public companies, Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur. But first and foremost, allow me and my team to introduce ourselves. As you may know, my name is Jonathan Stephen, and I'm from West Kalimantan, Indonesia, and is currently pursuing my professional accounting certification at Trisakti University. Next, please allow my teammates to tell a bit more about themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Trisakti. I am from Jakarta. I was graduate at Trisakti University. Now, I'm study accountant professional education program at Trisakti University.
Hello everyone, my name is Henry Pauji Iskandar from Bogor. I was graduate from Pakuan University and now I'm studying accountant professional education program at Faculty of Economy and Business, University of Trisakti. We are from the Financial Management of Wine class, lectured by Mr. Hari Purnomo.
With the given opportunity, we will elaborate three aspects regarding Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur. The corporate profile in Indonesia's economic outlook in year 2021 will be discussed by my partner, Ms. Sri Sulastri, while the fundamental and technical analysis of the company will be conducted by my partner, Mr. Henry Fauzi. I myself will be analyzing the portfolio analysis of Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur. Therefore, without further ado, let us continue to the first part of the video.
Indofood's strongest legacy today is the strength of its brand, many of which have been companions to the people of Indonesia for over 2 decades. These include a variety of brands of instant noodles, wheat flour and pasta, cooking oils and fats, dairy products, nutrition and special foods, snack foods, biscuits, culinary products, and syrups. Despite intense competition, most of Indofood's brands remain market leaders in their respective segments, with a reputation for quality and value for money that remains unrivaled. To date, Indofood's products have also extended their market presence worldwide.
The group operation has and might continue to be impacted by the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. The effect of COVID-19 virus to the global and Indonesian economy include effect to economic growth, decline in capital markets, increase in credit risk, depreciation of foreign currency exchange rate, and disruption of business operation. The effects of pandemic to the group is not significant. Further significant pandemic, if any, will be reflected in the group financial reporting in the subsequent period. But ICBP performance did not show any decline, thus making the company an attractive investment target. Why is that? This will be explained by my friend.
On this occasion, me and my friends are going to present to you about the good investment companies of the PT Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur or ICBP. In this part, I will explain to you about the technical and fundamental analysis of PT Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur from 2018 to 2020. The first is the technical analysis. This is data of the stock price movement for the 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and 6 months ago of the PT Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur used through technical analysis. Based on the stock price movement, we see that the stock price from 2017 until 2020 is always the bullish or uptrend, but in the beginning of the 2021, the stock price movement is going through the barriers of the downtrend. Based on data, the historical of the stock price movement of the ICBP is good in the 2020, while the pandemic COVID-19 is the influence all sector all over the world. The pandemic COVID-19 beginning in the 2020 until now, but in this data of the historical stock price of the ICBP is always increasing and stable, but in the beginning of the 2021, the stock price going through the barriers. ICBP has always maintained of the stock price, and the capitalization or market capitalization of the ICBP is the 795.34 billion, and the price earning ratio is the 14.57. Is the data based on the data, stock price of the ICBP is one of the good, and compared with the same company of the same industry of the food and beverage, ICBP is one of the leading industry. We use to data for predicting the future of the stock price of the ICBP. We are recommendation for you to buy the stock price of ICBP.
A total food solutions company, catering to the nation's households and serving people by the millions. From soil to plate, with quality and affordable foods every day. Indofood capitalizes on a resilient business model with 4 complementing strategic business groups to ensure consistent performance and sustainable growth.
The second is the fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis is the study of the company's financial strength based on the historical data, leading industry position for the potential future growth. In this, the fundamental analysis, we use financial performance. And then this is the data of the financial performance of the ICBP. We use 6 indicators. The first is the revenue. The second is the net profit. The third is the total asset. Fourth is the total equity. Fifth is the total liabilities. And the last is the cash flow. The first is the total revenue. Based on the graphic, total revenue of the ICBP is always improving from 2018 to 2020, and the growth is always good. And growth of the revenue is the greater than 7% of the year of every year, and then the net profit also is always increased same with the revenue. The net profit is one tool of the stakeholder and especially for the investor to know a good performance financial or the every companies investing in the capital market. And the third is the total asset. The total asset of the ICBP is also always increase every year, and then the significant change in the 2019 to 2020 because the ICBP are doing through acquisition of the field, and then the acquisition diversification are going to biggest impact for the total asset of the ICBP. And then the fourth is the total equity. Total equity also is always increased in the 2018 to 2020, and the same with the total equity total asset. The total equity in the 2019 2020 have a significant change, and because this acquisition of the pineapple. And the fifth is the total liabilities. The total liabilities of the ICBP also increased in the 2018 to 2019, but not a significant significant number, but in 2019-2020, total liabilities is have a bigger significant because the company used the one banking for the acquisition for the final year. And last is the cash flow. The cash flow is the company is always liquid and the positive cash flow in the 2018 until 2020. And the cash flow is the one of two of the company operating day to day. And last of the fundamental analysis, we use to financial ratio. Let's mean the data of the financial ratio of the ICBP. Yes, this is the data of the financial ratio of ICBP from 2018 to 2020. Based on the financial ratio of the ICBP, we use for the ratio. The first is the profitability ratio. The second is the liquidity ratio. The third is the solvability ratio. And the fourth is the market valuation ratio. The profitability ratio, the representing of the return on equity. The liquidity ratio represented is the current ratio, and the solvability ratio representative is the debt to equity ratio, and then the last is the market valuation ratio. Representative is the earning probability ratio. Probability ratio is used to measure financial probability to overall a firm to the extent of the operating efficiency. Probability ratio representative is the return on equity. Return on equity is a measure the firm ability to earn a return from the owner invested capital. Measure the rate of the return earned on the stakeholder equity investment in the firm. The higher the number, the greater is the return earned from the firm stakeholder. Probability companies are companies that have a high return on the equity, and because Indonesia is the country with high inflation and risk, it is advisable to choose the return on equity greater than 20%. Based on the data of the ICBP from 2018 to 2020, the return of equity is greater than 20%. That's why the return of equity of the ICBP is good for the investment. Is the liquidity ratio. Liquidity ratio that show the relation of the firm cash and the other current asset of the company. The representative of the liquidity ratio is the current ratio. The current ratio of the 100% is a great recommendation for the decision investment because the companies is good at managing current assets, and this is impact for the pay of the operating day-to-day companies. And then the low current ratio is usually concerned to indicate not have a problem significant of the liquidation of the companies. Third is the solvability ratio. Solvability ratio is the financial ratio that measures the amount of debt being used to support operation and the ability of the company to service is debt. The solvability ratio represented by the debt to equity ratio or DER. If the debt to equity ratio is high, the owner are putting relatively less money of their own. It is a danger signal for the creditor. If the project should fail financially, the creditor would lose heavily. Firms with the relatively high debt ratio typically have higher expected return when the economy is the normal, but lower returns and possibly bankruptcy if the economy goes through into a recession. Therefore, decision about the use of debt require firm of the balance higher expected returns against the increased risks. And then based on data of the debt to equity ratio ICBP from 2018 to 2020 is the lower than the 50 years, but in the 2018 the debt to equity ratio is 51%. But this is not not a bad condition. Overall, the debt to equity ratio of the ICBP is good, and then ICBP is always pay the one of the long-term liabilities and then managing for the operational. Last is the market valuation ratio. As an investor, we see that market valuation ratio is one of the important tools of the capital market. And the market valuation ratio represented by the earning per share. EPS is the representation of the number of dollars earned sharing of the profit, and the higher IPS is one signal for a good decision for investment. And based on the data of the EPS ICBP from 2018 to 2020 is always increase every year. We see that the financial ratio of the ICBP is good for the future good investment.
As a total food solutions company in Indonesia, Indofood dynamically adapts its strategies to different challenges and innovates with time, striving for sustainable growth and customer satisfaction beyond expectation.
So for the next part, I will be explaining why investors should have our company, Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur, in their portfolio. To complete the analysis, we would like to compare our company with its sister company, Indofood, denoted by the ticker code INDF. The data required to complete the analysis are dividends per share, closing price at the beginning of the year, and closing price at the year end. With those data available, we will be able to calculate the total shareholders' return for 5 years, and we will be able to calculate the expected value of return in the average of 5 years. The calculation shows that ICBP, our company, has an expected value of return of 14.07 in its 5-year average, while on the other hand, INDF, its sister company, has an expected value of return of 9.39%. So for the next part, we would like to simulate whether it is more profitable for investors to fully invest in our company, Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur, or fully invest in its sister company, INDF or Indofood, or having a mix of ICBP and INDF in their portfolio. The first assumption used will be that that the money available for investment is 50 million rupiahs. First, we will analyze the effects of investors fully investing their available funds in our company, Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur. Here we have 50 million, and with an average of 14.07% in 5 years, we will obtain profits of 7.037 million. Now compared to its sister company Indofood, with 50 million, investors would obtain a return of 4.7 million approximately in 5 years. With the comparison of both companies, we can conclude that investing fully on our company, Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur, is better than its sister company. We also analyzed the possibility of having both Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur and Indofood in an investor's portfolio. With 80% of our funds invested in Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur and 20% in Indofood, in 5 years, investors will obtain a profit of about 6.5 million rupiahs, which is denotably smaller than if investors fully invest their funds in Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur for 5 years. So, I would like to conclude that having Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur in investors' portfolio is profitable. Having our team explain the company profile, breaking down the products, and elaborating the company's financial performance in recent years, I would like to conclude in this part that Indofood CBP Sukses Makmur is a good company for investors to invest their money into. So, that concludes our analysis. Thank you so much for watching this video. We'll be expecting you in Indonesian Stock Exchange. Have a great day.
Indofood, truly a total food solutions company.